The snake people had been busy all week. Eli, Hannah, and Gideon stood at the gates welcoming their kin from across the world. One by one they arrived, scouts, warriors, sages, all answering the call. Grief still hung in the air from the lives lost, but so did unity. The snake people had not forgotten the pain. Their home had been taken by the hunters, and now they were preparing to take it back. "Welcome, brother," Eli said, placing a hand on a warrior's shoulder. "You are very welcome, sister," said Hannah, nodding in respect as another entered through the gates. Behind them, the stronghold was rising, walls reinforced, traps reset, watchtowers manned. The scent of war was in the air. Eli's thoughts turned to his late brother, the visionary Mambo. He had once said, "If one nest falls, another must rise." Now, watching hundreds gather, Eli knew his brother's spirit stood with them. The hunters had grown cocky. They believed their victory was final. They thought they could choke the snake people by cutting off their water supply, make them crawl, beg. They thought wrong. Eli had led the strike team himself. Their mission, take back the river. You are watching the Tales of the Savannah. Subscribe and be part of the tribe. Now let's get back to the story. They moved in silence like mist in the dawn. For days they had played a game. Old snake clothes scattered near the hunters' outposts. Animals smeared with their scent sent to wander nearby. The hunters laughed. They thought it was weakness. They thought the snake people had lost their mind. They let their guard down. That was the plan. The attack came at noon, bold, brutal, and fast. Daniel had begged to join. "I want to fight, Uncle," he had said. "No," Eli answered. "You are Mambo's heir, the future leader of our people. It's too dangerous. For my mother. Please." Eli had seen the fire in his eyes. He remembered Maria, her courage, how she had fallen. Daniel deserved his moment, but he would not face it alone. "Come," Eli had said. "Stay close." Now, the scent of snake was everywhere. The hunters no longer cared. And then, it began. In a single breath, Eli and his warriors shifted. Their skin split, their bones snapped, their bodies stretched into monstrous serpents. Fangs glistened, scales shimmered. With a hiss, they struck. Heads rolled, limbs flew, the air filled with screams and the sound of ripping flesh. The hunters never saw it coming. There was no mercy, no escape. They tore through the camp like fire through dry grass. This wasn't chaos, it was a message. To Cabo, who tried to kill him while he lay sick, too weak to fight back. Coward. Let him come now. Let him face me. Because this time, the snake people were ready, and they would not lose again. The hunters had held a funeral and a wedding. Eli was told this by one of his spies just before dawn. His blood boiled. They mourned their dead and danced on the same ashes they created. After the massacre, after the blood, they still had time to celebrate, to love, to laugh. It made his stomach turn. It was good, he thought bitterly, that Cabo had married. Maybe now, just maybe, he would know what it felt like to lose everything. Let joy come to him, Eli thought, so I can tear it apart with my own hands. Sunlight filtered into Cabo's chamber. Naomi lay curled beside him, her head on his chest. Peaceful, warm. A knock broke the stillness. Cabo sat up, groggy. "Yes?" A servant opened the door halfway, his face pale. "A present has come for you, sir." "A wedding gift." Cabo frowned. "From whom?" "We don't know. It was left by the gate with a note. We didn't open it, sir. It was addressed directly to you." The servant stepped in and placed the box down carefully. Cabo eyed it. Square, modest, tied in a silk black ribbon. The note on top read, "Congratulations on your wedding, Cabo." The handwriting was sharp, elegant. "Leave it," Cabo said. The servant bowed and backed away, closing the door. Naomi stirred. "Another wedding gift?" she murmured, still half asleep. "Yes," Cabo said slowly, walking around it. "But I don't like surprises." Naomi sat up. "Be careful." He untied the ribbon, watching every movement. His fingers hesitated over the lid. Then, in one swift motion, he flung it open. A blur of black exploded out of the box. A hissing scream filled the room. Cabo stumbled back as a black mamba launched toward his face, jaws wide, fangs gleaming. Its body moved like liquid death. Cabo's sword was in his hand before he even knew it. Shh. One clean stroke. The snake's head hit the stone floor with a dull thud. Its body thrashed wildly, blood pooling like ink beneath it. Naomi screamed, covering her mouth. Cabo stared down at the body, his chest heaving. Inside the box, something else glinted. A second note. He picked it up with shaking fingers. The paper was thick, stained slightly by venom. The message read, "Let this be the first snake to enter your home before death walks in wearing your name. We know where you sleep. We know who you love. You celebrated too soon. Eli." The candlelight flickered. Naomi was whispering something, a prayer maybe. Cabo stood frozen, the letter trembling in his grip. Outside, a low wind blew across the windows, but it sounded almost like a hiss. Tendai's feet hit the dust roads of Duma Village. He hadn't slept, not truly. His eyes were heavy, but his thoughts were heavier. The hiss in the back of his head wouldn't stop. Not an enemy's hiss, but something from inside him and outside at the same time. Something old, something familiar. The image haunted him, a snake with no body, flickering in and out like flame. A shadow of power that followed him everywhere. He didn't understand what it meant, only that he was no longer just a hunter. That much was clear. His legs had carried him all this way, even when his mind hadn't decided where to go. Duma Village sat just before the great river that led to Snake Island. It was said this village could speak across water, to places unreachable. A portal maybe to other worlds, a gateway to those who knew the old ways. And when he had asked around, one old man had pointed to a little wooden shop near the edge of the village. "You want to send a message to Snake Island?" the old man had said. "Only one place for that. She'll send it through." Tendai entered the shop. The air inside felt heavy, almost magical. And there she was, not human, not fully. She glowed faintly, her eyes like deep wells that knew too much. A mermaid? A witch? Maybe a fairy? Tendai didn't ask. If she wasn't a snake, she wasn't his concern. "I need to send a message to Snake Island," he said. "2 silver coins," she replied, not blinking. "That's steep," Tendai said. "So is danger," she said with a smile. He looked away from her. Those eyes. "Who is the message for, Hunter?" He cleared his throat. "Palesa." She handed him paper and a quill. He hesitated, then wrote, "Come to the river. I need to see you. Tendai." He left the shop and made his way to the river, heart pounding. He didn't know what he would say when she came, but something in him needed to see her. The river glistened under the early sun, its waters moving slow, like it too carried secrets. Tendai stood at the edge of the water. He looked around, quiet, peaceful, still, but not really. There was always something now. A sound, a presence, the feeling of being watched, of being followed. He crouched down and untied his boots slowly, fingers trembling more than he expected. He didn't know why he was so nervous. Maybe because this was the place he first saw his mother, or where he saw Kudu laying in a pool of his own blood, the dagger still in his father's hands. He took a deep breath, calming his nerves. He placed the boots neatly beside a rock and rolled up his trousers to the knee. His feet touched the water. It was colder than expected. His breath caught in his throat. He stepped in carefully. The stones beneath the surface were slick, and the current pulled gently at his ankles. But he stayed steady. He didn't want to think. He had started a small fire and stepped into the river to fish. His father had taught him this once when he was young, how to wait for the perfect moment. Stillness was the key. But since then, his father had forbidden him to step into bodies of water, but never explained why. He had missed this feeling. He focused, but his mind wandered. She'll come by sunset, he thought. Maybe. He hadn't even said why he wanted to see her. Maybe he didn't know. But when he wrote the letter, his hand had moved on its own. The words had written themselves. He couldn't explain it. The wind whispered through the tall reeds. His eyes scanned the trees. There it was again. That feeling. A presence. He tried to push the thought away. He needed to focus. The fish. There, beneath the surface, a silver dart. He lifted his blade. His stance tightened. His breath slowed. But then, something shifted in the current. A ripple. Strange. Wrong. Before he could react, he felt it, hands gripping his ankles, cold and strong, yanking hard. Water exploded around him. He didn't even scream. Two figures, strong, fast, dragged him down before he could scream. His sword dropped. The river swallowed him whole. Back in Snake Island, Palesa opened the letter. Her fingers trembled. The handwriting was shaky and not familiar. "Come to the river, I need to see you. Tendai." Asa stood at her side, concerned. "What does it say?" "He wants to see me, Tendai." "Don't go. This is a trap." Palesa's eyes welled with tears. "I just lost a son today," she whispered. "No, Palesa, you didn't lose Vusi. He went out there to save our people, just like you did. But Tendai, he is not like his father. He will kill you. If he wants to kill me, and then let him, I will not run from my own blood. Palesa, no. Take warriors with you." She shook her head. "No, this is something I must do alone." Asa's lips trembled, but she said nothing more. A memory surfaced, her own voice years ago commanding Palesa to give the child away. A hunter could not be raised on Snake Island. "Go well, Palesa," Asa finally said softly. "May the goddess walk with you." Without a word, Palesa turned and disappeared into the trees. Back at the river, Zoro and Sia burst from the brush, breath ragged from the journey. They had followed Tendai's scent for hours, racing through the night. The campfire still burned. His shoes were here. He had been here. "Tendai," Sia called. No answer. Palisa emerged from the river's edge at that moment. She paused when she saw them. Sia stared at her, breath caught. "Palesa." Their eyes locked. It wasn't just surprise. It wasn't just concern. It was love. Heavy, real, but there was no time for it. "Where is he?" Sia asked. "Where is Tendai?" "He sent me a letter," Palisa said, voice shaking. "I just got here now." Sia scanned the clearing. "His scent leads into the water," Zoro said. "That's the last place I can track it." "Maybe he's swimming," Palesa offered weakly. Sia shook his head. "Go. Look for him." Palesa nodded, stepping toward the water. In a flash, her body shimmered and twisted into her true form, giant, scaled, divine. A serpent. Zoro growled. "Why does she do that?" His voice tense, his eyes glowing. "She can cover more ground that way," Sia replied. "Don't lose your head, father." Time dragged. Finally, Palesa returned to the shore. Her eyes were wide with panic. "He's not there," she said. "I searched a mile in both directions. There's no trace of him." Zoro's face turned pale. "Mami Wata," he whispered. Sia turned sharply. "You think it's her?" "I know it. The snake people would have fought him. There'd be signs, a struggle. This is clean, fast, silent. Mami Wata takes. She doesn't ask." Sia's stomach dropped. He remembered the deception, the flower, the lie that had kept them safe. "This is our fault," he muttered. Palesa's voice cracked. "We have to get him back." Sia looked out over the water, then at Zoro. This was not a mission. This was a rescue. And it was personal. "Then we'll find him," Sia said. "Go back to Snake Island, Palesa." Palesa met his gaze, her eyes full of fury and love. "We will do it together," she said. "No, Palesa, this is our doing. We do not want to bring you into this." Palesa walked into the forest without arguing. Zoro and Sia looked at each other and followed her. "I guess she was coming with us after all," Zoro said with a smile. The elders entered the boardroom one by one. The room fell completely silent. Everyone sat still, eyes focused, waiting. No one spoke. Nandi, Diallo, and Samuel were already seated, their faces calm. Diallo leaned forward and cleared his throat. "Our visit with the snake people was a success," he began, his voice steady. "We were granted an audience with their snake queen. She welcomed us with respect and hospitality." He paused, looking around the room. "She invited us to stay for a ceremony. It was sacred, and we accepted. That is why we were gone longer than expected." The room stayed quiet, every elder listening closely. Diallo reached beneath the table and pulled out a small, carved box. He placed it in the center and nodded. "Before we left, she gifted us with a gift." The council members leaned forward, and Diallo carefully opened the lid. Gasps filled the room. Inside, the box gleamed with gold, bright stones, and rare jewels. "Generous," one council member whispered. "Indeed," Diallo replied. "The Queen has accepted the 7-year truce." He sat back in his chair. "That is the update. That is what happened." The room stayed still, but the weight of his words hung in the air. Something had changed, something important, and everyone knew it. "We shall have a feast in honor of this truce," Django announced, his voice rising with pride. "And in honor of Nandi, who is with child, who carries not one but 2 lives inside her." The council erupted into applause. Cheers filled the air. "Congratulations," they echoed across the room. Nandi smiled, nodding politely. But inside, she wished he hadn't told them. Not yet. The weight of what she carried, both the children and the truth, was too heavy. But she smiled anyway. It was expected. From across the room, Diallo caught her eye and smiled too. But his smile wasn't like the others. His smile was thin, tight. It hid something deeper. Dread. Later that night, the celebration roared on. The drums beat, the wine flowed, and laughter echoed through the halls. But Nala wasn't celebrating, she was searching. She finally spotted Samuel leaning against a wall on the edge of the courtyard, alone, his face half in shadow. She walked over. "Have you been avoiding me?" she asked, forcing a playful smile. "No," Samuel said, barely looking at her. "I haven't." She tilted her head. "Well, how was it?" "How was what?" "The Snake People village," she said. "How was it?" He shrugged. "It was okay." His tone was flat. He didn't want to talk, but she pressed. She had to know. "And how was he?" His eyes snapped to her. "Who?" She straightened nervously. "Kwame." There was a beat of silence, and then Samuel's jaw clenched. "There it is." His jaw tightened as he took a step forward. "You couldn't even wait, could you?" "What?" Nala asked, confused. "You couldn't wait to ask about him." His voice was tight with rage. "We've just made a truce that nearly cost your father his life, and the first thing out of your mouth is him." "Don't you get it?" he snapped. "You going to that cursed village is the reason your father nearly died. Your obsession with that village, that dirty, lying pit of scales. Do you even realize what your presence there meant?" "Samuel." "No, let me speak," he said, his voice rising. "You think this truce is something to celebrate? 7 years. 7 years. Do you think the hunters asked for this? Do you think this is what we were made for? We were made to hunt them, Nala. And now what? We wait. We eat and dance while they grow stronger in the shadows." Nala opened her mouth, but the words wouldn't come. "And the first thing you ask," he sneered, "is how he is. Not me, not your people, not your father, who walked into fire for you. No, you ask about Kwame. Have you forgotten what he is?" "Samuel, please, no, you please," he barked. "You haven't said a word to me, not one, but you ask about him." He laughed bitterly. "You don't even know what he is, you've forgotten. Or maybe you never cared." Nala's eyes brimmed with tears. "You're a fool, Nala. A stupid girl chasing after a man who will never, never love you like you love him," he said, moving closer. The word hit her like a slap. Her breath caught. "I've loved you. I did. And part of me still does," he continued, voice shaking. "But all you ever see is him, that snake, that traitor. Do you think anyone here would accept a union between you and that? Do you think our people would ever allow it?" He stepped back, disgust in his eyes. "You don't belong with us anymore. Maybe you belong with them. Maybe you and your little serpent prince deserve each other." Samuel turned and walked away, leaving her in the noise and firelight of the celebration. Her legs felt weak. She didn't know whether to run or scream or chase after him. She just stood there, frozen, as tears ran freely down her face. For the first time in her life, someone had said it all, everything she had feared, everything she had buried. And deep down, she knew some of it was true, or maybe she feared all of it. And that, my dear tribe, brings us to the end of another thrilling chapter in the Hunter versus Snake People saga. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. This week, the Snake People have gathered from across the world, uniting in support of Eli, Hannah, Gideon, and Daniel as they prepare for their next great battle. We witnessed how the Hunters met their end, completely unprepared. And somewhere far from the action, a deadly gift arrives at Cabo's doorstep. A warning, a promise. Meanwhile, in a distant time, Tendai finally reaches Duma Village, the last outpost before Snake Island. He writes a letter to his mother and waits. But his wait is cut short. Mamiwata scouts have been tracking him, his grandfather and his father, for years, and now they've found him. But all is not lost. Zoro, Sia, and Palesa are already on the move to rescue him. Will they make it in time? We'll have to wait and see. Back in the present, Diallo announces that Operation Truce was a success. Peace has been accepted, 7 years of it. And to celebrate, a feast is declared in honor of the peace, and of Nandi, who carries twins. But not everyone is celebrating. Later, Nala finds Samuel. He delivers bitter words. She is left stunned, unable to shake his words. Maybe, just maybe she fears. It's all true. What will happen next? Well, we will just have to wait and see. Until next time then, stay wild, stay curious, and stay ready for what's to come. A big shout out to @WolfMaiden11. Weeks ago you dropped a gem, reminding us that Tendai, Zoro, and Sia should avoid water bodies because Mamiwata is still searching for them. I had forgotten that they once outwitted her, but you remembered. That right there is the power of the tribe. Together we remember. We connect the threads across time, across stories. This savannah is alive because of you, and how we all carry its history together. This episode is dedicated to you and your brilliant insight. I couldn't find your original comment, it's been weeks, but I remembered. And that is what truly matters. Without you, my tribe, my family, Tales of the Savannah would be nothing. It's the love we all share for this world that makes it special. Your comments mean so much to me. I read them all, and I try to reply to each one because you matter to me. Some of you say you can't wait for each new episode. Some of you say the Savannah lives in your heart. That means the world to me, because it lives in mine too. From my heart to yours, thank you, truly. Want to support the channel and become an even bigger part of our tribe? You can join for as little as the cost of a coffee each month. Your support helps me continue creating the content you love, but of course, just having you here is already more than enough. Thank you for being part of this journey. A warm and heartfelt thank you to all the amazing tribe members who have chosen to join and support this incredible journey. Your belief in this channel means the world to me, and I'm so glad to have you along for the ride. And as always, thank you for watching our story, and we hope you enjoyed it. What lessons did you draw from this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the tribe. Thank you for watching The Tales of the Savannah. We will see you next time in the Savannah.